Good afternoon and welcome to Ivy Madness. Right now we are excited to be joined by the Penn Quakers. Joining me is head coach Mike McLaughlin, along with guard Stina Almquist, forward Jordan Obi, and Rookie of the Year guard Matea Gale. We'll start with some opening comments from Coach and then move into questions from the media. For the media, if you have a question, please raise your hand and we'll bring a microphone over to you. Please state your name and affiliation prior to asking the question. Coach?
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of us at Penn, the program, we're super excited to be here. We've had the opportunity to be at the Ivy tournament several times, and this is a really thrilling event. It's a culmination of a lot of hard work, celebrations, the highs and the lows, the growth that we've made as a program, as a team, and just to be up here with these three, in this environment to enjoy today's shoot around and then more importantly the game tomorrow. We're thrilled to be here. We're excited to be here. We're ready to be here. And this team accomplished a great deal to get here, but I think there's a lot more they want to do, and we're excited for tomorrow.
Questions? Jen,
Hi all, I'm Jen Hatfield with the Next. I'll start with the players. For all three of you, it seems like you guys are playing some of your best basketball down the stretch. What do you think is most improved over the last month, 6 weeks or so?
Go first. I think a big point of emphasis these past few games, the whole season really, is defense. I think we're starting to come into who we are as a team defensively, and just playing. I think offensively we've been good throughout the season. Defense is kind of where we've been less consistent. So I think consistency on the defensive end is what's got us playing really well.
And I would have to say that at the beginning of the year, obviously, coming in, you don't know everyone that well, but, I feel like the biggest difference that I've seen throughout the year is, our chemistry and how much, we've learned to, love each other and, want to play for each other. And I feel like that definitely translates onto the court.
Yeah, and going off of what Matea said, I think we had a senior group last year that graduated that was such a big part, and we have a bunch of new awesome players coming in. So I think everything takes time, and I think it's coming together at the right time, so I'm super excited.
You're leading me into right where I was going to go next, which is asking about you. So, Mike, I'm going to address this to her, but if you want to chime in after, please feel free. Stina, what's just the season been like for you, taking on a bigger role, being an all-Ivy player? What do you think have been some of the biggest difference makers for you?
Yeah, I think has been, patience for me, my time here at Penn. So, we had some awesome players like Kayla. I was doing awesome things at USC right now. But I think the first 2 years was honestly just about learning and just fitting into the role. And then this year, taking on a bigger role has been also a fun part of the journey. And yeah, honestly, I don't really know how it happened, but I think it's just working hard and having an amazing teammates who helped me and coaches who helped me, and that made it better.
How did it happen, Coach?
Yeah, I think all this, I think if I talk about each one of them separately, they all have a great story to tell on why the chemistry got better and how this happened. Starting with Jordan, just her overall growth as a student and as an athlete, as a leader, and remember this group, as we all know, was the pandemic group. Jordan's freshman year, she did not play. That was a difficult time for all these young kids. But particularly for Jordan, really wanted to play and then doesn't get the opportunity to compete, and then grow in her sophomore and junior year. And as Stina alluded to, we had really strong seniors. We mentioned Kayla, but the other four were just super leaders and great teammates, and just a sponge in all of them. But I think Jordan's growth really started all this. Obviously, Stina had a remarkable junior year. That was coming. It was just a matter of the opportunity that she needed. So she's super prepared. As I said to everyone, Stina to come over here, Stina doesn't even come to Penn until her first day of class. It was during the pandemic. It was around that recruiting period. She takes a chance to come across the world, per se, to come to Penn without even visiting. Like she said, it's a process. Things take time. And what she has done has been remarkable. And then obviously Matea, doing what she did. We needed someone to come in and initiate the point guard position, to score the ball, to help these two out. And her story stands alone. She's one of 10. She's the oldest of 10 children. Her siblings see her playing Ivy League basketball and going to an Ivy League school. And it's just so all that comes together. Her personality shines, these guys shine, and it just worked. It just came together. It took a lot, but it certainly came together at the right time.
I'm just going to ask one more and then I'll share. You mentioned Kayla a couple times. Mike, for you, what's it like seeing her and the other Ivy grads win the Pac-12? And more importantly, do you feel like that, impacts the Ivy League in any way, having those three players be part of that?
Yeah, personally for Kayla, I think everyone would attest to it. She's just a remarkable person. What she's doing does not surprise me a little bit. I was telling Lindsay before she went out there, you're getting a really good player, but you're getting a better person and leader and someone to be in your program. I love watching her. We all talk to her. I talked to her parents. I saw her parents back in when we were out in California. Watching Mackenzie have the same level of success. And I've known Mackenzie's father for 30 years. It's just full circle. I'm getting pictures of Mackenzie and Kayla out with the parents. And it's just how it's just all matriculated. It's just awesome. And then Caitlin's doing unbelievably well, too. But what it does for our league, I don't know. I've been doing this for a while, and I'm trying to stop proving to people that this is really good basketball. I'm really over that. That's your job to figure that out. But for us, it doesn't surprise me what these guys are doing, and we're watching from afar. But it just shows you that the quality of play and the people in this league can succeed anywhere they want. And these ladies are going to succeed on the court, but they're going to succeed off the court.
Rob Brown, Ivy Hoops Online. Coach, after the couple games with Princeton this year, what is looking towards tomorrow, what's the main thing that you need to control, and what's the Achilles heel for Princeton?
I think what we've talked about this week, and even going into playing them last week, we got to narrow the gap. I think there were situations plays that we need to have back that are impossible to have at live play. But we did work on little things this week so we can kind of reduce the opportunities they had. But in particular, transition. They really hurt us in transition. We didn't do particularly great against them in transition. So if we can narrow that gap a little bit, maybe reduce the possessions and we get a better chance. We played some really good basketball against them at times, but not for 40 minutes to beat a quality team like this. So we're going to have to put a full 40 minutes of a special effort. Are we capable? Yes. Is it going to be a task that's going to be difficult? There's no doubt about it, but we're embracing it. We have to do these little things consistently for 40 minutes, and if we're going to have a shot to put some game pressure on them late in the game.
And looking at the other side from Princeton, the three-point defense is not the most solid, nationally. Not like where all the defense is pretty high. The three-point area, is that a place where you're looking to kind of make some hay?
Well, there's times, there's a couple games we had 8, 9, 10, 11 threes, and then there's times we had 2 threes. So a little bit inconsistent in that. I think we have 5 players or 4 players out there at a time that can make a 3. We're going to have to make them. There's no other way around it. We're going to find a way, and that's one way to obviously narrow that gap I was talking about.
Sure. And for Jordan and Stina, can you talk about last year's semifinal, what you've learned from that experience that you can apply towards tomorrow?
I think I don't know if I'm gonna get the games mixed up, but like Coach said, really just piecing together 40 minutes. I think last year's game we had periods, like you said, where we were playing well and other periods where we're not. So I think for us, it's just gonna be putting all 4 quarters together.
And not 3. There you go, Jordan. I'll help you out.
All 4 quarters together.
From what I remember from last year, obviously it's harder to play Princeton at Princeton, so I think that will change this year's games a little. But just doing what we do for 40 minutes, and also, if I remember, we started off pretty bad with 18-0. So try to not do that.
That'd be a good idea.
Coach, usually this season starts with a lot of optimism and also a lot of mysteries with first years, but with Mattia and Essie, we got a lot, great production. Can you speak about, whether it was a surprise or whether you expected that?
Yeah, I think they both bring something that we didn't have. They're very both of them are quick. They can get up and down the floor. They're good athletes. They can create a shot. And I think, I expected both of them to be able to do it. Did I expect them to do it this early and this quickly? I probably not. But they both have an ability to go create a shot. And I think when you do that, we've been late in the shot clock more than like every team does. And this year we've done really well. We've done really well late in clocks, late possessions, just because we have a few kids on the floor that can make a play off the dribble. So now what they're doing, it doesn't surprise me. At the level they're doing it, is pretty impressive.
And the last for me is for all three of you. Could you speak to your feelings after getting the all-league announcements the other day?
Well, let's start with Vinte.
Well, Jordan actually kind of was the first person to tell me. She just came in like screaming. I was like, "What's going on?" And then she's like, "Congrats!" And she's like, "Oh, they didn't tell you yet?" And I was like, "Oh." But I felt obviously really happy, and it was great that like I was like in the locker room with the team like when I found out, and we could all like celebrate together, and it was such an honor. And Coach and me had talked about it like the day before or something about it, so I was like, oh, this is like a big deal, and I was just very like grateful and blessed.
Yeah, I think what she said, it's an honor. Yeah, there are a lot of good players in the league, so it's really nice to get an achievement or a recognition like that. So yeah.
Yeah, I was coming from my finance class, and I got my test back, and I was really happy about it. So I called my dad to tell him, and then he told me, because I didn't even look at like Instagram or anything. So, and Mike had texted him before about it, so he was super excited for me, and he's been coaching me for like all my life. So that was a super awesome moment. And then I also got to share it at practice too. So, yeah, it was awesome.
Got time for one more. Right here, Mel.
Mel Greenberg, the back-to-back. You prefer somebody else first? I mean, the fact you just played them, there was a similar situation in the MAC that we just saw actually where Fairfield last Saturday really owned Ryder, and yet Ryder gave him a real run for the money yesterday.
Yeah.
And he came right back.
Well, I mean, I'm not screaming to go play them, but this is the way it is. We knew going into last week, there's a good, high probability we'd play them again. We did not approach last week's game any different than we've done. We tried a few things that maybe we wouldn't have normally done, but I think they're two separate games. You'd have to ask Carla the same question. I'm sure she sees it separately. She probably sees it as it's tough to beat a team 3 times in a row, and I'm saying it's tough to beat them, period, right? So regardless of how many in a row. So I think depends on what side you're on. We both have a different thought of that, but I've been on both sides of it. I think they're separate games, and you just have to play.
Thank you all very much, and best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.